Hello, and welcome to the MMA Mic Drop Podcast. My name is Jade Bunky. I am joined once again by the one and only MMA Milo, who is not only an emerging MMA analyst, but one of the nation's top up-and-coming youth surfers. In today's episode, we are going to break down everything that's about to go down at UFC Seattle, Adesanya versus Pyfer. Milo, this is an interesting fight card. It features a two-time champion, former champ in Adesanya, against a up-and-comer with some crazy power. It features a former champ in terms of Alexa Grasso. There's some interesting fights on the prelims. Excuse me. How would you grade this fight card?
I think I would give it a C plus.
Oh, really? That's kind of low. Tell me why.
Just cause I'd say like the main event is Adesanya is kind of out of his prime, so I think it'll make it a lot boring than it would have 5 years ago.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think he's outside of his prime, but he still is a big name, a big draw, has such an elite level skill set, and we'll get into that with the individual breakdowns. I would actually give it a B plus. I think this is a really good fight night card. It's really carried by the fact that you do have two former champs, but there's some other compelling fights on there. So let's get started. Let's jump right into the main event. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to break down every single fight of this card. We're going to give you the odds, and let's go. So Israel Adesanya, he is 24-5. Joe Pyfer, he is 15-3. Adesanya is ranked number 4. Pyfer is ranked, I believe he is 14 right now. And let me just get the odds real quickly.
Israel Adesanya is a minus 140, and Joe Pyfer is a plus 120.
Wow. Okay, so very close fight, and I think those are appropriate odds. Milo, one, do you think those are appropriate odds? And then why don't you break down this fight for me and tell me what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think those odds are perfect because I think this fight can go either way. But I'd say I'm leaning more towards Israel Adesanya just because his kickboxing's a lot better, and I think Pyfer's he tries to hype up his fights by striking and going crazy, but I think Israel's going to be able to find the holes in his game and catch him. I'm going to go third round knockout for Israel Adesanya.
So that's interesting. When you look at Israel Adesanya, he's one of the best kickboxers the sport's ever seen. I would think, when you talk about the elite level kickboxers, and I've said this in other videos, you have Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya, Michael Venom Page, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and that's it. And there's a big drop off after all of those guys. And, Izzy's interesting. I do agree. I think there will be moments where he will outclass him on the feet. He is a much better striker, a much better kickboxer. He's got good calf kicks. He's got a great question mark kick. He's a precision striker. And this might be where the problem is, at least in my opinion, given his age. He's 36 years old. He's slowed down a bit. Now, going back just even 2 years ago when he fought Dricus du Plessis, he was outclassing him completely, but he had a momentary lapse. He had a momentary lapse against Imavov and got knocked out. And what I'm starting to see is that the lapses are coming earlier, in the fights, and maybe, he might not, just given his age, he might not be able to react as quickly as he used to. Now, I do agree. I think the first round or two, I think he's going to outclass Joe Pyfer, because even at this age, he is going to be the better striker. My thinking, though, is his chin might be shot by now. And Joe Pyfer is the person against whom you do not want to fight if your chin is compromised in any way. He's probably the heaviest puncher in the middleweight division. And I think, Izzy's going to outclass him early on, but I think Joe Pyfer will catch him in one of those momentary lapses, and he's going to put him out. So give me Pyfer by third round knockout. Alexa Grasso versus Maycee Barber. This is an incredible fight because it features a former champ against somebody who is no longer that young prospect, but is absolutely surging right now. Grasso, she is 5-1. Barber, she is 15-2. And Milo, what are the odds?
Alexa Grasso is a plus 115, and Maycee Barber is a minus 135.
Yeah, so check this out. I'm looking at Barber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. she is on a 7-fight win streak, and when she had her back-to-back losses, a lot of people are saying, okay, maybe she's not the next big thing, because that's what a lot of people thought. But she's beat some good competition. You know, Karine Silva, Miranda Maverick, Amanda Ribas. I mean, she's beat good women, and I think she is as good as we thought she was. And this is a big test against Alexa Grasso, who is good everywhere. And we saw, I mean, she has a win over Valentina Shevchenko, where she locked up that sub in the rematch. It was a draw. I think it was a split draw. But I mean, I thought Valentina beat her there, and then Valentina finally beat her in the last fight. Before I give my pick, who do you think? What's your pick?
I'm kind of torn, but I think I'm gonna go Maycee Barber by a close decision. I think she's just gonna keep her on the back foot and just pressure and get a decision.
Yeah, and it's interesting when we look at the age. Barber's still only 27 years old, and she's on a 7-fight win streak. She's probably getting better, between every single fight. And I'm curious. I'm curious to how good she is now, because she still is so young. Where Alexis Grasso, she's an elite level fighter in this weight class, but she's 32. So I don't know what improvements have been made, from her last fight. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Maycee Barber in an excellent close decision that she is going to take out. Alexa Grasso. All right.
Yeah.
Before that, we have Michael Chiesa versus a late replacement in Nico Price. Chiesa, he is 19-7. Nico Price, he is 16-10. This fight should not be on a main card in 2026, even for a fight night. But with that said, Chiesa is from not Seattle. I think he's from Spokane, but he is from Washington. And this will be, it'll create a good TV moment to have a retirement right there in the cage.
Yeah.
Chiesa, I mean, he is a grappler, and for some reason at 38, he's on a 3-fight win streak, which I think is just absolutely insane. And then when we look at Nico Price, he's been.
Oh, I think they changed the Michael Chiesa fight to Carlston Harris.
No, it's the other way around. It was originally Carlston Harris, and I think he had visa issues or something. He couldn't get into the country.
Oh.
Yeah, so Nico Price is the replacement. But you're right, it was a switch, but it was just the opposite of what you said. Well, and so when I look at this, Nico Price has lost 5 out of 6 fights in a row, and his chin is completely gone. He used to be one of the most exciting fighters. He would bring it. He has a wide repertoire of offensive weapons, and let's see. Yeah, he out of his 16 wins, 13 were by finish. He's 36 years old, and I think he's completely shot. Now, the thing is, Michael Chiesa is not going to he's probably not going to hurt him on the feet. And so that glass chin that Nico Price has might not come into play. So Chiesa might be losing for some of the bout on the feet, but I think he is going to get it on the ground. And when he gets it on the ground, I think he's going to handle him there. Out of his 19 wins, he has 12 submissions. I mean, he is an excellent grappler. And give me Chiesa by 3rd round submission. Who do you have in this, and why?
I agree with you on Chiesa, but I'm gonna go with Chiesa by decision, just because.
Yeah.
They're both old and yeah.
This fight's probably gonna be pretty boring.
Yeah.
Before that, we're gonna get Julian Erosa versus Lerryan Douglas. Now, this is kind of an interesting placement because I think there's better fighters on the prelim, specifically like Ignacio Bahamondes, who I'd rather see on the main card than either of these. Yeah. Now, Julian Erosa, I mean, he's a fun fighter. He's just a little old. Let me just click and see how old. Yeah, he's 36, and he's 31-12, but he has 26 wins by finish, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and he also gets finished, so it's always exciting. And Lerryan Douglas, I mean, he's 30 years old. He's 13-5, and this is his debut. I mean, he had an impressive win in the Contender Series, and I think he's going to be too much for Julian Erosa. I think he's going to win by 1st round TKO. What are your thoughts on this? Tell me the odds and what are your thoughts on this fight?
I think I'm gonna go with Douglas by a first round knockout
Hmm.
because Julian Erosa's been finished a lot. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and at 36, do you think he's just kind of done?
yeah, he's done.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we have something very similar there. And then before that, we're going to get Mansur Abdul-Malik versus Yusan Belgaroui. I probably butchered that name. Mansur minus 120. Yousri is a plus 100. Now Mansur, he's an interesting prospect, right? He is. Let me just see. I think he's 9-0. Yeah, he is 9-0 and one. That one draw was against Cody Brundage. He was winning that fight. It was a little more competitive than what I thought it would be, but he really should be 10-0. And then let's see how many of those fights are in the UFC. Let me do this real quickly. Yousri, he is 9-3, and he's 1-0 in the UFC, but it's against Asma Bakoyev. I mean, he finished him, and that's a pretty good win. And so he looked pretty impressive. So this is actually a pretty good matchup. I like how they're giving a prospect a pretty tough matchup. And, Mansur, I mean, he's got good power. He's a good wrestler. I think he's going to be good everywhere. But I think it's going to go the distance. Give me Mansur by decision. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna go Mansur by first round knockout.
Oh, wow. Okay. The power.
Yep, because he's 9-0, and yeah.
All right. So before that, we are going to get the best fighter in the UFC for 60 seconds or fewer, and that's Terrance McKinney. And it doesn't matter up against whom he goes; he is always dangerous. He has 100% finish rate. And check this out: so he's
Jeez.
17-8. He has 100% finish rate, and every loss he's been finished. So there's 100%
Yeah.
finish rate against him in form. He is the most exciting fighter. We saw what he did against, Matt Frivola a while ago, where he knocked him out in like 7 seconds.
Yep.
He's an elite level grappler, and he's got great power. He's taken Kyle Nelson. He is 17-6. Do you want to break down this fight first, or do you want me to go?
Um, I'll break it down.
All right.
Terrance has a 73.5 reach. Kyle has a 71-inch reach, and I'm gonna go with Terrance McKinney by first round knockout.
I like Terrance McKinney. I mean, he is so dangerous. I'm wondering if he's learned from a little bit of his recklessness. It's got to be first round TKO. I mean, he's going to be good no matter where this fight goes, and he will be good against anybody. But yeah, give me Terrance McKinney. And this is appropriate for a main card because he is so exciting. I would really like to see him put on a streak, but that has not happened yet. Before that, we have Casey O'Neill versus Gabriella Fernandes. So this is kind of interesting. Casey O'Neill, very similar to Maycee Barber, in that, there was a lot of hype and then she dropped 2 fights, but, she's rebounded nicely. Let me just click over to her win and loss record real quickly. I know she has like just 2 losses. Let me just get specifically what it is. Okay, she is 10-2. Fernandes is 11-3. Do you mind reading the odds while I just pull up?
I'm
Well, as you do that, so she lost back-to-back fights against Jennifer Maia and Lipski de Silva, and it looked like, okay, the hype was not real. And again, even though the trajectory is similar to Maycee Barber, I don't think she's as good because Maycee Barber not only has rattled off 7 in a row, whereas O'Neill has just won her last fight. Maycee Barber has fought such better competition, and so when I say they've had a similar path, it's not really apples to apples there. But Maycee Barber, I mean, she's tough as nails. She's a good striker. She has some pretty good grappling, and Fernandes has some good grappling as well. And Fernandes is, she's won 3 in a row, and it's been against some pretty good women. I mean, she has that win against Kong Wang, where Kong Wang, she's the one that beat Valentina Shevchenko earlier in her career, elite level striker. She was able, to sub her. Before that, she beat Carly Judice. This is a good matchup, and I'm a little torn, but I think I'm gonna take Fernandes by third round sub. Milo, what are the odds? And tell me who's going to
The
win.
odds are Casey O'Neill is a minus 132,
Okay.
and Gabriel Fernandes is a plus 112.
Do you think
Um,
do you think those are appropriate? Who do you think is going to win?
I think they're appropriate, but I'm gonna go with Casey O'Neill by decision.
Okay. Do you think she has, because she's still young, she's still in her 20s.
Yeah, I think she has better grappling, and she's just gonna take her down.
Do you think she has future champ possibilities, or is that too much for her?
I mean, sure. You never really know
Yeah.
until they're actually at the top.
Yeah. All right. Before that, we have Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson Jr. Milo, give me the stats.
Chase Hooper is a minus 245 favorite, and Gibson Jr. is a plus 230.
Yeah. This matchup, Chase Hooper, he's 16-4. Gibson Jr. is 9-2. I think this is a pretty easy fight to break down. Chase Hooper is a grappler, but his striking has improved. He had a nice little win streak going. He did get finished by Alexander Hernandez, who is not a very high-level fighter. And so when I look at Chase Hooper, even though he's gotten better, he's still middle-of-the-road UFC fighter at this stage in his career. He is 26. We have seen him make vast improvements, so it seems like he is really committed to the game. And when we look at Gibson Jr., he did not look good against a 40 or 39-year-old Bobby King Green. I think Chase is going to get him to the ground. I think he's going to submit him. Give me Chase Hooper by second round submission.
I agree. I'm gonna go Chase Hooper by third round submission.
Yeah. Did you watch that fight with Gibson against Bobby Green, or where he just?
Yeah, I watched it.
What were your thoughts?
It was kind of like unimpressive, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think he's UFC level, and so
Yeah.
Hooper's going to handle him here.
I think Bobby Green loses to most of the UFC roster though, so
yeah, I mean
or the lightweight roster.
Yeah, he's so old now, and he has back-to-back wins, which is just crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that. That's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. This fight is amazing. Before that, we are going to get Ignacio Bahamondes versus Tofiq Musayev. I'm probably pronouncing his name incorrectly. Bahamondes 17-6. He is better than his record indicates. Musayev, I'm just going to call him Tofiq. He's 22-6. And he's a finisher. I mean, of his 22 wins, I believe it's like something like 18 or 20 are by finish. But he is 36 years old. I think this is his first fight in the UFC. Let me take a look. Yeah, 20 are by finish. This is his second fight in the UFC. He lost oral by first round submission. And this is going to be a striker's fight. When we look at Bahamondes, he has really good range. He has really good kicks. And he's fought some pretty good competition. Look, he lost to Fiziev in his last fight. Fiziev is a legit top 10 fighter in the world. I don't know what Fiziev's rank is. He might have dropped out of the top 10, but he is a top 10 level fighter, and he was. Yep. But when we look at Bahamondes, I just want to read off some of these names. These are wins. Jalen Turner, first round submission. Manuel Torres, first round submission. Chris Thiagos, first round TKO. Those are good fighters, really good fighters. And it just really shows, he could really bring it. And I think he's going to bring in this fight. I think he's going to be too much for the 36-year-old. I think he's going to light him up from the feet. The other fighter will be dangerous, but give me Bahamondes by second round TKO. What do you think?
I'm going to go Bahamondes by dominant decision.
Dominant decision. And what are the odds on this?
Bahamondes is a minus 275, and Musayev is plus 250.
Okay. Before that, we're going to get Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. Now, Tybura he's way better than you think he is. He's slow, he's plodding, but he's an exceptional grappler. But he is old. He is, I believe, 40 years old now, and he has really fallen off the cliff. He was one of those guys where you can match him up against a younger prospect, and he would just outsmart him, use better grappling, and not be out of the water on the feet. He is just so slow right now, and he's going up against a 35-year-old prospect, if the prospect could be 35 years old.
Jeez.
But it is the heavyweight division, and he is 7-3 or 17-3. You know, he does have a little bit of power. He has, 12 finishes overall, 11 TKOs, and I think he's going to get it done. I just think Tybura is way too slow at this age. Give me second round TKO by the new fighter, Tyrell Fortune. Give me the odds and tell me what you think is going to happen.
Tybura is a plus 100 and Fortune is a minus 117, so it's pretty close. I think I'm going to go Tybura by a decision. I think it's going to take him down and hold him down for 3 rounds.
Do you think, are you doing part of that? I mean, are you mitigating the UFC experience against his age because he is so old, but
yeah,
he's fought way better.
In the heavyweight division, it's like being slow is like everybody's pretty slow besides like Tom Aspinall. So you can just get caught and get knocked out.
That is definitely true. All right, before that, we have Navajo Sterling versus Bruno Lopes. Sterling 8-0, Lopes 14-2. Sterling, he trains with Israel Adesanya. He is it wouldn't be a surprise. He is a kickboxer. He has some decent power. He's very methodical, and he might be a little too slow paced. I actually thought he had better power coming to the UFC, and some of the hype has dropped off because let me just take a look. Yeah, he is 3-0 in the UFC, but they're all decision wins, and they're not against the best competition. So it's one of those things when you say, how good is a prospect? When a prospect, doesn't lose, but he's not lighting up the guys who are not that good. What are do you want to break down this fight, or you want me to continue?
I'll break it down. Sterling is a minus 410, and Lopes is a plus 400. So, and Sterling's 6'4", Lopes is 6'2", and Sterling has an 82-inch reach, and Lopes has a 75. So he has a big reach advantage.
Wait, who had the reach?
Sterling.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Sterling by first round knockout.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so yeah, Lopes is he's the better grappler. Out of his 14 wins, 11 are by finish, 6 TKOs, 5 by submission. He's coming off a first round loss to Justin Jacoby. Justin Jacoby's really good. Justin Jacoby is an elite kickboxer at this particular level. He has, so he's 1-1 in the UFC. I think this is a close fight. I'm really torn. I'm hoping Navajo Sterling has made some adjustments. Give me Sterling by decision. Before that, this fight should probably be on the main card right here. It's Ricky Simón versus Adrian Yanez. Simón, he is 22-7. Yanez is 17-6. And I was looking at this earlier, and I was shocked by Yanez's age. He's 32 years old. He's always been that prospect, and he was this hot prospect that was, how many wins in a row? Let me just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He had 9 wins in a row. 5 of those were in the UFC. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5 of them were in the UFC, and you're like, this guy is the real deal. He is the next big thing at bantamweight. Then he gets knocked out against Rob Font, and you're like, okay, Rob Font does that to some prospects. How about a bounce back fight? He fights Jonathan Martinez, and he got lit up on, with the leg kicks and just got completely neutralized. He came back, got a first round TKO, and you're like, okay, this guy's the real deal. And then he loses to Daniel Marcos. And so what I see with him is he's a very good fighter. He's not that elite level fighter that we thought. He is a great striker. He has fast hands. He throws good combos, but he's not at that elite level. Now, when he takes on Ricky Simón is he's an above average UFC fighter. He's more of a grappler. He's never gotten over the hump. He's coming off a loss to Hani Barcelos. Now, Hani Barcelos is good, but he's also kind of old. Before that, he was on a 2-fight win streak, but before that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak, but it was against, Song Yadong, Mario Batista, Vincius Oliveira. So when I look at both of these guys, they're both above average UFC fighters. They are both excellent fighters. I am going to take Yanez to win by third round TKO, and I'm pretty torn on that because Simón has better grappling. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch my pick right here because Simone trained not too far from here in a city called Irvine. We're in
Mm.
Newport Beach. That's just the city to the east of us. So I'm changing my pick. I am totally biased in my analysis, and so
I'm gonna agree with you on that too.
I'm going to take Simone by third round submission. What are you going to take? What are you going to do?
I'm gonna take Simone by this decision.
All right.
I think he's gonna keep him down.
Yeah, and Simone is the minus 170 favorite. Jan is plus 145 underdog. Hey, we never said we were unbiased. We are totally biased.
Yes, extremely.
Yeah, we will make picks based on who we like, where they live, who might have a more interesting fight. So yeah, that is
Yep.
100% correct.
That's why you should bet with us.
That's why you
Bet
should
with
bet the
our
opposite
picks.
of what we say. So take into our
If
analysis.
you want to make money.
Yeah, if you want to make money, just do the opposite of what we say. That's why we're the best betting show in the game, or non-betting show.
Yes.
All right, let's see. All right, opening the card. This is a pretty good fight. Bruna Brazil versus Alexia um, Tenera. Tenera, she is 13-1. Brazil is 11-6. Now that one loss is to Brazil early in her career before
Hmm.
they were in the UFC. So this is a good rematch. Tenera, she's only 28 years old. She's looked so good. She had that first round win. She's 2-0 in the UFC. She had that first round submission win against Molly McCann. She's coming off a decision win right after that. And let me see. So she has 8 subs on a record out of her 13 wins, and I think she's going to get it done. Give me third round submission by Tenera in this fight to right the earlier wrong. What do you think, Milo?
I'll just give the odds first. Tenera is a minus 480, and then Brazil is a plus 425. I think I
Did
think
you say what were the odds again?
Tenera wait Teneria is a minus 480,
Oh, I
and
didn't
then
realize she was
Brazil,
that big. Okay.
yeah, she's a big favorite, and then Brazil's a plus 425. I'm gonna go with Teneria by a first round submission.
Wow. All right. Well, there you have it. Those are the bets you should not bet on. But like, subscribe, hype this video, and Milo, do you have a last word?
Drop the mic.
All right, we're out.